Oh, hello. My name is Mara from the BookTube channel Books Like Whoa, and today we are going to be talking about recommendations for Harlequin books to read based on your zodiac sign. So we're just going with sun sign. We're not going to do the rising or the moon, though all of those are important as well if you know anything about your chart. But we thought this might be kind of fun just to give some recommendations of things that you might like to read based on your zodiac sign. So the way that I did this was mostly based on the lines that Harlequin offers, and then we'll have some specific titles based on that pairing and a book in that line from Harlequin. So we're just going to start with Aries, which is the first sign in the zodiac, and just make our way around the calendar, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, first up is Aries. For Aries, we're going to talk about Carina Press. So if you don't know, Carina is a line for readers who love modern romantic love stories where LGBTQ characters find their happily ever afters. And I think in terms of how that ties into Aries, when I think of Aries, I think of people who are very self-assertive, honest, not afraid to kind of stand their ground, creative and optimistic. And you know, I feel like in a world that has often not treated people of the LGBTQIA plus community very well, those are all traits that I think you need to have to survive and thrive in the world. So I think that those tie in nicely. A place to get started. Sorry, we got a kitty friend making a cameo here. A place to get started with the Carina line is Pack of Lies by Charlie Adhara. And the tagline of this I love. It says, werewolf meets human, werewolf snubs human, werewolf loves human. So it's Julian who's going to this small town to try to find out what happened to his brother and the local werewolf who he may be having a romance with. Okay, so then Taurus, the line we're matching with that is Harlequin Presents, which is kind of what I think of as like the flagship, like it's what I think of when I think of Harlequin. And this is the line where it says, welcome to the glamorous lives of royals, billionaires where passion knows no bound. Be swept into a world of luxury, wealth, and exotic locations. So that is very Taurus. Taurus is very materialistic, might be the negative way to say it, but like they're very grounded in material things. Like they're, you know, sort of like the first earth sign, so they enjoy luxury, they enjoy nice things. So that I think ties in nicely. And the King's Christmas Air by Lynn Graham is a recommendation for that line. I actually really love Lynn Graham stuff. She's one of those classic Harlequin Presents authors who really delivers, I think, sort of the ethos of that particular line. And the tagline is, the king has an heir, but does he have a queen? So this is a hidden baby romance. So next we have Gemini, which we're matching with the Special Edition line. And Special Edition is relate to finding comfort and strength in the support of loved ones. Enjoy the journey no matter what life throws your way. The idea of no matter what life throws your way, I think is definitely very Gemini. Like they are always changing things up. You know, they're kind of like Sagittariuses in that sense of, you know, kind of looking for new adventures, looking for the newer, better thing. And frankly, I think Geminis, like a Leo, would enjoy feeling special. So a recommendation for Special Edition is The Rivals of Casper Road by Rowan Parrish. Small town romance, and there is a new guy in town named Casper who is looking to join the annual Halloween decorating contest, and he's got a lot of competition from Zach, who is the 6-time champion. So that is Gemini. And then Cancer, which is my sun sign, we're matching with Love Inspired, which is inspirational romance. Fall in love with stories where faith helps you guide through life's challenges and discover the promise of a new beginning. Cancer and Virgo definitely are very correlated to spirituality, which we will come to here in a minute. So that makes sense. And then also the idea of sort of like inspirational or being very focused on romance in general is very Cancerian. So an example of a love inspired one is A Nanny for the Rancher's Twins by Heidi Main, which is coming out, I believe, in November. And this is a nanny falls in love with the dad of the kids that she's nannying for, small town. The setting is specifically on a ranch. So next up we have Leo, and we are matching them with romantic suspense, which makes sense because Leos are very dramatic, and I feel like a romantic suspense is a very dramatic kind of story. Suggestion here is Reunion at Greystone Manor. I picked this one because I've read some of her paranormals in the past and enjoyed them. And this one has an FBI agent whose childhood home he's going to go home to sell because his beloved aunt has passed away. So he's selling the house, but his second chance is with his childhood sweetheart, Megan, and they're finding the truths about what is going on with this house. So for Leo, the romantic suspense line, which is heart-racing page turners will keep you guessing to the very end, experience the thrill and unexpected plot twists of irresistible chemistry. So very thrilling, high drama, high action, very Leo. And then for Virgo, we're doing love-inspired suspense. Like I mentioned with Cancer, Virgo is probably even more so than Cancer, very, very associated with spirituality. So it makes sense that this is another inspirational romance line. It says, find strength and determination in stories of faith and love in the face of danger. So yeah, Virgo, very into like philosophy, religion, spirituality, all of that. So that totally aligns. And a suggestion for the love-inspired suspense line would be Christmas Hostage by Sharon Dunn. This one is a woman who is a security expert who's been taken hostage by bank robbers, and the undercover FBI agent who is going to have to blow his cover in order to help rescue her. Okay, and then for Libra, we have the Harlequin Intrigue line, which is dive into action-packed stories that will keep you at the edge of your seat, solve the crime, and deliver justice at all cost. Well, Libra is literally, the sign is the scales, which is also associated with justice, the scales of justice. So this is definitely a very apt pairing. And a recommendation of where to start with this line would be Captured on Kauai by R. Barry Flowers. And this one is set in Hawaii, and it is a DEA agent named Dex trying to find out why one of his colleagues was murdered at this beautiful resort on Kauai, and he and the resort owner, Katrina, are gonna have a romance. For Scorpio, the obvious recommendation is the Harlequin Desire line because it is very focused on some more of the heat. So be transported to the luxurious worlds of American tycoons, ranchers, and family dynasties. Get ready for bold encounters and sizzling chemistry. Scorpio is the sign most directly related to sexuality, so it makes sense to go with a line that is more, va-va-boom. And the recommendation of where to start with this one is Best Man Rancher by Maisie Yates, who I have read and enjoyed before, so can recommend her. And this is a best friend sister pairing where they're both going to be in this wedding and sparks are gonna fly. So then Sagittarius, which is my rising sign, this is the Harlequin, just the romance line, which is emotion and intimacy simmer in international locales, experience the rush of falling in love. The international locale is definitely the tie-in for Sagittarius because Sagittarians love travel, experiencing new things, etc. So great pairing there. And I went with One Week in Venice with the CEO by Kate Hardy because Kate Hardy is my personal favorite Harlequin romance author. And so this one, as the title suggests, is set in Venice. And there is a penniless Contessa, Serafina Ardazzoni, who is going to rebuild her family's crumbling palazzo in Venice. And it looks like she's going to have to persuade handsome CEO Gianni Lido to help. And romance is going to ensue. And speaking of Kate Hardy, I'm going to recommend another one of her books for our next sign, which is our Capricorns. We're going with the medical romance line for Capricorns, and Kate Hardy is just I love medical romances, and Kate Hardy is my favorite in that line. So the line, as the name suggests, is escape to the world where a life and love play out against high-pressured medical backdrop. Capricorns are some of the people you want in that emergency surgery room if you have some sort of desperate medical situation because they are cool, calm, and collected. They're very hardworking, high-achieving, enterprising, very driven, so like high-powered surgeon. All of that very much fits with a Capricorn. And I have loved so many of Kate Hardy's medical romances, but the one that is her most recent one, Surgeon's Second Chance in Florence, another one set in Italy. And this is a second chance romance between a surgeon who is now working in Italy, and she sees the dude who broke her heart 2 years ago, and they're gonna have a second chance at romance. Next we have Aquarius, and we're gonna go with the Harlequin heartwarming line for them, which is, the tagline for this line is connect with uplifting stories where the bonds of friendship, family, and community unite. And when I think of Aquarius, Aquariuses, I definitely think of like upbeat optimism, very creative. They're definitely very humanitarian, so I think that kind of goes with the overall connecting with mankind vibe. A book from the heartwarming line. A place to get into this line that's upcoming is The Seal's Christmas Dilemma by Juliana Morris. We've got this woman, Noelle, heading home to Montana for the Christmas holidays. She does like international relief work as a doctor, and there is a wounded seal named Dakota who is spending time with her family, and you know, things go from there. And then last, but certainly not least, we have Pisces, who we are matching with the historical line. So Harlequin Historical is described as be seduced by the grandeur, drama, and sumptuous detail of romances set in long ago eras. And Pisces are very romantic. So I think the sort of romanticism of a bygone era totally makes sense. They're very imaginative, so, you know, they can picture the setting from long ago. And a place to get into the historical line is How to Cheat the Marriage Mart by Millie Adams. This is a Regency England setting, and we've got George Claremont, the Marquess of Curran, who is a rake, and he accidentally compromises the prim Kitty Fitzroy, and his efforts to cheat the system and not have to get married may be thwarted because of this. So those are some recommendations based on your zodiac sun sign of where to start with the different lines that Harlequin has. If you can't tell, Harlequin has a line for pretty much everyone and any taste. So maybe check out the line that's associated with your sun sign, and hopefully these recommendations are a good place to get started with those lines. So I think that will do it for this one. Let us know what you thought of any of the pairings that we did below. And don't forget to follow Harlequin across all their social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the things. And you can find me at Books Like Whoa, most of those places as well. And yeah, I think that will do it for today. Hope you're having a great one, and we will talk again soon. Bye!